So I thought I'd do a video on how to store in Transport Imperialis. I think it's kind of interesting actually, because when you think about it, the company that sells it also sells carry cases, right? And they are the worst carry cases for Imperialis. But to be honest, it's a niche product we do, right? You find everything else. But yeah, so if you're thinking, oh yeah, I can just buy games for case, you'll be wrong. Unless you bought one of the really old ones we used to sell. But yeah, so the current, ignoring that new weird one, which I don't even know if it would work very well, I don't even trust it, wouldn't even try it. So pretty much all the cases these days are these kind of weird looking zigzag things, where you essentially put your models in the middle, and as you get more in, they start essentially everything compresses together and holds everything in place. They're actually really, I don't mind them, like for infantry and stuff, fine. They bad for metal models, not that this is at all relevant, because the metal models are heavy enough and they will slide downwards and they won't be able to be held in place because it's too heavy. It's also, as you can see in this corner, actually pretty good for bigger things as well. And if you've got some really big stuff, you can essentially, instead of having it laid on top like it is on this picture, you essentially have this side facing down and use both sides to carry it. But yeah, so these are good for like Titans. Honestly, aircraft might be okay as well. Like Thunderhawks would be really great for Thunderhawks. Potentially some of the aircraft, depending on how you store them or how big they are, might work. But generally, most of Imperialis, except for maybe some of the bigger tanks, you wouldn't want to use these. And Knights would also work really well. Yeah, so my recommendation for the majority of Imperialis is the old school style, like 25 by 50 mil rectangular cutouts. But essentially the old, oh, I've got one next. Like these. Oh god, get rid of this. Yeah, so these are just, so these are, should be 25 by this. So 25. And these are 50. And they're 25 deep as well. Yeah, so they fit most of the small tanks. Like this is, they fit drop pods as well. You can get 2 rhinos in one of these slots. You just have to, I've got the piece of foam in between just to prevent them rubbing. They do fit. Predators fit, but they are a bit of a tight squeeze as the sponsors are pushing slightly against the side, which isn't too bad. The issue with Sakarans, for example, I kind of wouldn't trust. It's probably okay, but the Sakarans are exactly 25 mil wide, so it's just beside sponsors that are sticking over by a lot. So I wouldn't really trust them. But yeah, yeah, they fit under the back of my head. I've got some Dracosins fit as well, so Malcadors should fit. These are actually a bit on the long side though, so the Malcadors might actually be a bit too long, depending on what guns you give them. Because this isn't actually flat, it's on a slight angle because it's how it sits. Yeah, infantry wise, if you have a thin enough sliver of foam between them, you might be able to fit 4 in one. I sort of tried it out earlier because the laser destroyer rapiers are about as tall as like a assault auxiliary infantry unit, mostly because the guy standing next to it is taller. But yeah, I think 3 is a good amount for these, for majority of things. Obviously things with banners won't fit. But yeah, so you get 3 per, and you just have a layer of foam in between each layer. Sort of keep everything separated and nice. And so land speeders, you can get 2 land speeders quite happily in as well, just have them foam to stop them moving around too much. My issue with like the land speeders is they do have the really small bits on them. You don't, even if it isn't foam, I wouldn't really want them like rattling around as much. To a point where also the javelins, I actually don't trust them. You can fit 2 in, but I don't really trust how much pressure you put on some of the smaller bits. You basically have them sort of, yeah, they do fit. There's a bit of gap between them, but I think just having one like that's probably better. And yeah, there's a Leviathan Dreadnought, so you can fit 2 Dreadnoughts in as well. Didero Dreadnoughts probably wouldn't fit, too in, but yeah, so you can get a decent amount of stuff in them. And if you get ones which aren't too, I think these are about a centimeter wide. Or these ones look a bit longer, and they're not too bad. The issue with when you do pre-cut shapes like this is they won't be potentially as efficient, but these ones aren't too bad. And then for the bigger stuff like Baneblades, Kratoses, and Sakarans, also potentially aircraft, flat ones, I think one of the better options would actually be just 1-inch thick pluck foam. Unfortunately, the company that I get my cases from, which I really like, because they do some nice, it's basically a canvas bag with hard sort of stumps. I think it's like, might be corrugated plastic or something in it, just to keep everything firm. But yeah, they don't do 1-inch pluck foam, so you have to see if I can get some made, or just trim, like essentially cut like half an inch off your 1.5-inch pluck foams, which would be really ugly. But yeah, so yeah, because those for bigger things you can do that. Potentially something that would be interesting is if you could get, you might be able to do 1/2 inch, might be thick enough, but otherwise maybe like 20 mil. But essentially have a bunch of like 25 mil circles cut out in a way where it's really space efficient. So rather than like, it's the same size. So you have like, instead of having like lined up like that, you'd have them like alternating, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4 sort of thing, something like that. Just to be as space efficient as possible, and just so you essentially have a big layer of them, you just have like 1 in each unit. But these, yeah, but these 25 mil by 50s are actually pretty good though. I really have no complaints about them. Yeah, and for the bigger units, unfortunately, 2-inch thick foam is too small for the majority of the Titans, actually all the Titans. Weirdly enough, you'd have a better shot fitting a Reaver with its like, as an oval base, which is I think 70 or 65 mil thick. Would fit better in 2-inch foam than a Warhound with its 80 mil round base, which is kind of insane. Yeah, so you're sort of restricted to 3-inch foam for Titans and such, which isn't too bad. I think my plans, I have a 6-inch case. And I kind of want, so I'd have, plan will be to have 1 3-inch thing to carry some Titans. Also technically, aircraft also fit, like a Marauder will fit nose down, so like, yeah, wing wise, so like that's the center, like just straight down into 3-inch foam and be fine. So it's basically just take like a slit of foam, which is kind of interesting. Otherwise you could potentially just, you'd flip them horizontally like normally, but just stack them with layers of foam between. And basically a bunch of stacked up that way as well, which would also work with some thinner foam as well. Yeah, so my plan is to have probably 1 3-inch thing of pluck foam, and then probably 2 of these trays, and 1-inch pluck foam, and just a goal would be for that one case to be able to carry at the same time 2 1,500 point armies, as well as a 3,000 point army, which would probably be made up of parts of those small armies, mostly so I could take it around, have a proper game with someone, or if I wanted to give demos to someone, I could have essentially 2 forces with me. And I think I could do it. And if I just didn't bring Titans, it just had Knights, I could potentially just add an extra layer of foam as well, like to go down to 2 inches, the aircraft in there, add some Knights, and then just have another layer of like probably pluck foam. We'll see how it goes. But I think Titans are interesting in the game, honestly. I'm not even sure if they're kind of cool to bring, but also sometimes if they're big point chunks, if they get taken out, it'll be interesting to see. I think once we get more choices, it probably won't be as big, it might be more guess we'll see how the game matures actually when it comes to Titans. But yeah, so I think if I was for 1500 point armies, I'd probably have a Warhound just to have Titans to show what we're like. And then potentially fit a Reaver in there as well. Just so if I wanted to bring a Reaver in with 3000 point army. Yeah. Just noticed like there's a gap there. Oh well. Yeah, so that's sort of that's my plans for storage, and it's honestly what I would recommend. I might have a see if I can get. So there is a company locally that does foam stuff. I just heard to go for it because I know they can cut foam into like different shaped squares. I don't know if they can cut things out of shapes out. So if I can, I might try experimenting with some of the like 25mm circle foam, just like some thin ones, see how that works. But yeah, I do think I need to go to them and get some plug foam, because they sell big sheets of plug foam, and if they can cut those, and then just find something, like you just get like I just need a 10mm base for everything to glue onto. But yeah. So that is what I would probably recommend and will be using to transform my Imperialis. And yeah, if you guys have any other ideas or plans to do your transport, and just mention in the comment section down below. And I'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching.